All right,
Well, how you
and
doing today?
we're good. Looks like everything's up. And come on. Okay, there we go. We're on.
Okay.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? It is I, Unbearable Boss, and my co-host slash partner,
Hello.
and welcome back to another podcast episode of The Situation. We are live once again from state of Oklahoma.
Yes, sir. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Been trying to do a lot of stuff. Been doing a lot of vlogging. So
That sounds like fun.
yeah, I got a bunch of videos I need to get edited and uploaded by tonight.
Gotcha. Gotcha, man. Well, it sounds like fun.
Sounds like fun. Hopefully, I looked back at the last live stream and hopefully I fixed the bitrate issue. So far,
Okay.
our stream status is excellent. The stream is healthy, and we're still
Good.
broadcasting at 1080p as a minimum.
Good.
How,
Gotcha.
how that will change as the hours go by, I don't know, but hopefully I can counter them as we go.
Okay. Yeah. It's kind of a learning experience for doing streaming, so
Uh, yeah, we learn as we go.
for sure.
Uh,
Well, I got a couple of topics, I think three total together.
yeah,
I
three.
sent them to you a little while ago. Um, so Uh, really, we can do them in any order because I know you had like two that you had together. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in any particular order. But the first
Um,
one,
we could talk
the
about
f-
your topics first, and then once we get done, we can do mine.
okay, no, that's fine. I'll say the first one I definitely wanted to get through is obviously we're a little late, but Thanksgiving was
Came
it
and
last
went as
Thursday?
always. Last no, I think it was the Thursday. It was the last Thursday.
Gotcha. So it's like 2 weeks ago,
Yep.
week and a half. So yeah, we had Thanksgiving. That's actually why we haven't been around.
Nope.
Uh, we wanted to do a kind of a Thanksgiving Saturday episode, just a real quick one, like 30 minutes, maybe an hour.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, schedules kind of conflicted. I ended up having to go to work just to make up some hours since we were off.
And I worked from like 3:30 in the morning to 9 p.m. in the evening, both Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, so you had it rough. But
But
yeah, no,
all my wells got checked, and that's what's most important.
yeah. So, that was kind of my first topic. It's really short. Is just, I hope everyone had a really good Thanksgiving. And if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope your day was good. Um,
But I think we can all agree Thanksgiving is a time to reflect and to be thankful for what we have.
Absolutely, yeah. Even in itself, just reflect and be thankful for what you have, the people around you, friends, family, anything of that sort. I was lucky enough to actually come by and see you and your lady. Saw your brother and his lady. And then I went with I was at my family's for a while. Got to spend time with my mom and my stepdad, my grandpa and my aunt. That was nice. I ate way too much.
You ate way too much. Yeah, that always happens on Thanksgiving. Is you eat way too much.
Lady.
You eat way too much.
Yeah. I will say probably my favorite thing to do for Thanksgiving is to just like pig out and then I don't like fall asleep or go comatose or anything, but like I
I
just
sure as
sit
hell I
there.
did.
Yeah, probably. I say when I came over to y'all's place and had some turkey, like I noticed she had the big turkey and then she had the same size of a ham. I was like, oh, that's a lot of food.
Yeah, honestly, it took a lot not to go downtown and buy an engagement ring and a wedding band that day.
Well, we'll get there eventually.
Gotta get out of tax
But
debt first. Gotta make sure I have nothing holding me down to take the next
there
step
you
in my
go.
life.
There you go. That's goals, man. That's goals.
Yep.
But
We gonna do a New Year's live stream, or are we gonna stream from the previous day to the next day?
if we maybe
I
I don't
can
know. We'll see how it goes. I don't know what day it falls on, to be honest with you.
stream till 12 in the morning, and we can have a New Year's live stream.
That'd be fun. Um, but yeah, no, that's pretty much it for the Thanksgiving thing.
Yep.
Again, if you
want to comment down below and tell us what you're thankful for, I'm definitely thankful for the friends and family I have with me today. Sad that
yeah, that would be cool.
Little sad there's some family members that I wish they were here, but I'm very grateful for the ones I did have that were here. Was not expecting to see Devin, and I was grateful for that. I'm glad he got to come over and eat some food.
Yeah, it was good to see you too. That's I wasn't expecting to see you. I thought you were still at work. We just kind of came by to say hi to your lady. So
It's a Thanksgiving miracle.
but yeah, no, definitely leave a comment. We'd greatly appreciate it. Let us know what you were thankful for on Thanksgiving. If you don't celebrate it, that's fine. Leave a comment about, something that you're striving for. That would be cool too.
Yep.
But really, I mean, that again is kind of a short topic. Nothing crazy.
Nothing.
But
yeah, luckily it was an uneventful Thanksgiving. Nobody fighting other people. Nobody screaming "World Star." No one went to jail.
Right. Yeah. Thankfully, ours was pretty uneventful. Just a lot of food. But well, okay. I guess that would segment into the next one.
And our next topic is, now this is a topic that you were telling me about, and immediately after you heard about this, you wanted to do the podcast as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Because you felt very strongly about it.
Well,
no, that's the third topic. Never mind.
The third one, yeah, definitely.
Topic number 2: the failure of the industry giant Disney.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I guess I do kind of feel strongly about this one because I used to love Disney. I grew up on it. The House of Mouse was where it was at. But there's a lot of stuff that has happened over the ages.
Bought out a lot of franchises, then ruined them.
Yeah. But really what I wanted to focus on for this was kind of like where they're at right now as, an industry giant for making movies and shows and, everything else that they do. And their current position right now is bad. It's, their stock price is going down. They can't seem to put out any decent movies. Like, I don't know what's going on other than they're trying to accommodate for a certain audience, and it's a very minute audience. And they're just kind of leaving everybody else who used to like watching their stuff in the dust. And, well, we're just not supporting it.
It's kind of like the Anheuser-Busch situation. I know that's kind of out there. It's like, we're going to do something completely different and say screw you to our core audience.
Yeah, it absolutely, that is what it is. The biggest problem you're going to have is, like I said, you're targeting a small audience. And the broader audience is like, what is this? What is this crap? Like, I'm not interested. So the two most recent would be The Marvels, which came out. I don't remember the date, but pretty recently. And it bombed. It bombed very heavily. Internationally and, locally. So.
Yeah, it's kind of weird where the cultural values of Disney have disappeared now. When Walt Disney was founded, like during World War II, like Walt Disney was pro-Nazi. I think everybody who knows the history of Walt Disney knows that that's what they were pushing for. They released a lot of pro-Nazi stuff in their Mickey Mouse franchise, and a lot of that has actually recently got leaked over the last few years. But now they're kind of on the opposite end of the cultural wars, and it's hurting them.
Yeah, I don't know. It is interesting, but
not saying for them to go back to being pro-Nazi. I hope that's very clear. But I'm saying like they're ignoring their core audience and they're disrespecting Walt Disney's work. Walt Disney, he was not a good person, but he knew how to entertain people, and that's what
absolutely,
that's what he did.
Yeah,
and
so
I think the biggest thing is the new Snow White movie that's eventually going to come out. How they took away the dwarves, and then it had a lot of backlash in it. And the funny part is they added dwarves, but instead of hiring dwarf actors, they're using CGI.
And yeah, so what actually happened is like the initial announcement of it was, oh hey, you know, 7 white and the I don't know,
7 mystical creatures,
something like that. Yeah, and it was just like, okay, I don't think that's the story, but you do you, I guess. And then shortly after, there was, I believe it's the Daily Wire, decided, you know what, we're going to do it, and we're going to do it the original way, the actual story, because Disney doesn't technically own the rights to that story, so really anyone could do it. Because it's based off of the Grimm, the Brothers Grimm, I think. I don't know. It's one of the older fairy tales that Disney has used in a lot of their stories. So, they basically said, okay, well, we're going to do it, and we're going to do it right. And then Disney was like, oh shoot, okay, let's change this. So they backed off, and they took out the mystical creatures, and then they put in the dwarves. And yeah, they CGI'd it into a, you know, poster type thing.
Brings me up to another topic. Do you know who Piers Morgan is?
Yeah.
He's what I would like to describe as a classical liberal. He's not like a radical liberal or radical leftist. He's somewhere kind of middle ground. Not really conservative, but not really left leaning and sort of things. And he brought up a good discussion about, because we do have a lot of dwarf actors, and it's very hard for them to get roles exclusively for their statue. And that kind of, they brought a dwarf actor on the show for this. This was a while ago. And they brought up a good topic because they brought also a radical leftist saying it's offensive to call dwarves, even though there's a dwarf there that says that's how he wants to be called. And it kind of goes back to who played the dwarf, or the South Pole elf is how they called him in the Elf movie.
I don't know what his name is.
Well, apparently a lot of dwarf actors were very upset with him because since he's the most popular, I mean, he got very popular when he was part of Game of Thrones. And
Peter Dinklage. Okay.
Peter Dinklage. But they were really upset at him because he basically made it all controversial about being a dwarf and all this stuff. And a lot of dwarf actors were upset because who gave him the right to speak for everyone else? And he kind of he spoke for everyone else because he was the most popular dwarf actor. And because of that, he was upset because now Disney is going to be denying them exclusive roles, because dwarves would love roles that are meant for them. Well, of course.
I mean,
they would love roles that are meant for them instead of roles that are created for them or roles that they can't play because of their statue. And even the Willy Wonka movie that's coming out. There's a new Willy Wonka movie coming out. They're not hiring any dwarf actors too. And a lot of these dwarf actors are upset about it is because these are roles meant for them and they're being denied because of this whole cultural bullshit.
Yeah. No, yeah, it is. It's kind of ridiculous that they wouldn't even have a chance at the role when originally that they would have fit perfectly. Like, I can't remember his name, but the guy who played Willow in the old 80s movie, and then they remade it into a series, and he also starred in Harry Potter. He was Professor Flitwick, I believe. So like he had a really, I mean, he's gotten roles, but he's well known, so that might be why. But he didn't do anything like what Peter did, and it is shitty. But back on, I guess the other thing, the other. So I mentioned the Marvels, it bombed, and then
Star
the
Wars.
one that I take, huh?
Like the Star Wars, the Book of Obi-Wan. Oh my god.
Okay. It's not really recent. I mean, it's recent, but it's not the recent one that I was talking about.
Which one were you talking about?
Okay, so they just released very recent, like I want to say within the week, an animated movie called Wish. So I watched the preview and I was like, okay, this looks really dumb. But once I started like actually looking into it, it's essentially, and I'm not surprised, but it's like communist propaganda. Like that's the best way I know how to describe it. And like I don't like getting into that stuff, but that's if you think about it and like read in between the lines, really you don't even have to do that. Is the villain is the dad and the heroine is, you know, the young daughter. The dad can grant wishes, but he's very selective of what he grants, like what wishes he does grant. He won't grant just anything or to anybody. And the daughter thinks, oh no, well, you should definitely grant all the wishes, everybody's wishes, which obviously that's
a
huge
terrible
conflicting
idea.
Yeah, that's awful. So now obviously I haven't watched the whole movie. I haven't watched the movie at all, so the ending might be something like, oh well, yeah, no, we understand that's not possible, but it's just the initial deal of it. So
Yes.
it's kind of a poor take towards a movie, if in my opinion.
Another thing they have done recently, and me and my girlfriend just found out. Girlfriend's more upset than I am because I'm not really familiar with the franchise, but supposedly we saw a commercial the other day that leaned to the idea that Disney has just bought the Doctor Who franchise.
Oh no.
And she was upset because I guess the last season of Doctor Who, they changed the original Doctor. Because I'm guessing, I don't know, the way that she described it is there's multiple Doctors across different universes and parallels and all this stuff. I don't know Doctor Who, honestly. But
Yeah.
she was upset that they changed in the last season. There was two seasons. One where they changed the Doctor into a female, and apparently her acting was terrible, and she was just overall terrible, and she was very upset about that. And then they changed it to where the original Doctor, not the Doctors throughout, but the original Doctor, the first Doctor, into a obese black lesbian female.
Huh.
And
Okay.
and it's she was upset about that because she's the kind of person, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I am to a certain extent, like with the whole changing Ariel from white to black.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm honestly, I know how Disney can fix that. You know, Princess and the Frog, that was an actual black female Disney character.
Yeah.
Race swap her to white.
The outrage would be immense. Yeah.
I'm just saying why it's just back to the cultural war. Like, you can be racist to white people all day long, but if you're even remotely inherently racist towards a black person, then it's the end of the world. To me, racism shouldn't be tolerated regardless of your skin color, but we're just at that point.
Yeah.
And like going back to, like you said, the Marvels, which is basically, from what I got, because I'm not going to see it. I didn't see Captain Marvel. I was very, very upset when Captain Marvel came out. I was very upset when Ant-Man and the Wasp came out. And I'm going to get into that. But it's basically the Marvels is like the female version of Avengers, right?
I wouldn't say it like that. It's
the group of powerful
Captain
females,
Marvel,
right?
Yes. You've got Captain Marvel, and then you've got the two other characters. One was from oh my gosh, I can't think of. I honestly, I don't know. I think it was like Miss Marvel. Captain Marvel, and then there was the third who she got her powers in Wanda and Vision. So you had to watch that series to understand. And then the villain, I don't know who it is. But yeah.
But if anybody remembers, like, honestly, Stan Lee should have never sold Marvel to Disney. He should have never had. I don't think he really had much choice into it. Because I think at the time Marvel wasn't bringing in money to support themselves. They were making good movies, but I don't think they were bringing enough back to support the Marvel Studios, so they sold out to Disney, if I remember correctly. But pretty much ever since then, like, the Marvel movies have gotten worse. Everything after Endgame has been terrible.
Like, yeah, I would agree.
She-Hulk was terrible. And here's the deal. I'm all for female characters. Okay, as long as they're originally females and you're not changing the gender or the race and disrespecting the original work, I'm fine with. But when they released She-Hulk, they completely just destroyed Bruce Banner. Like, everything that made him, they did nothing but trash.
Yeah.
And the Hulk is my favorite Avenger. Why would you do that? Why would you? Okay, we're finally going to bring back She-Hulk, but we're going to completely destroy original Hulk in the process.
Yeah, I don't understand what that was about. Like, She-Hulk in the comics, that's been around for a long time, and it was good. So I'm not really sure what was going on with the new one. It was I don't know.
And Captain Marvel is a great example of this, and because the original Captain Marvel was a guy. He was a superhero back in Stan Lee's original comic book days, and they brought her back as a female. And to me, that disrespects the original work of Stan Lee. But then again, Stan Lee wasn't around anymore, so they could do what they want.
Yeah, I'm not super. I don't know. I guess I'm to the point where I just don't care anymore. Because they've done it with so much. Like, yes, I care, but I'm like just like, oh, who's it gonna be this time? Like, okay. And really, the best way to, if you want them to stop and quit doing this stuff, the best way to do it is don't go see it. You know, your money is what helps them do this.
Yeah.
Without your money supporting these projects that they're putting out, you know, they're not going to be able to. So,
Ant-Man and the Wasp. My favorite assassin character throughout the Marvel franchise is Ghost. You know who Ghost is, right?
Yeah.
Like, Ghost is just honestly a badass in my eyes. And I don't know if you've watched Iron Man Armored Adventures, but
some of it, yeah.
They made Ghost look like a complete badass. It was honestly awesome. And then when I found out that Ghost was being brought back for Ant-Man and the Wasp, I was so excited. But they completely, not only did they gender swap, they also race swapped it too.
Yeah.
And honestly, it frustrates me because if it could be the other way around and nobody care, I think that would be more understandable. But you can't do it the other way around. It's just unacceptable.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say they if you race swapped Black Panther or
Princess and the Frog.
Yeah, there's other like people of color, you know, characters in Marvel.
Luke Cage.
Yeah, Luke Cage, which is great by himself. Like, he's a great standalone superhero, and it shows like a lot of his personal struggles in the series. And it's like, well, if I took that character and made him white or made him Hispanic or Indian, A, it doesn't work anymore for the story, but B, it's like, honestly, yeah, no, I get it, because they would have every right to be outraged. Maybe not to like a certain, I don't know, some extent, you know, don't take it too far, but like raising your voice and saying, yeah, no, I don't agree with this. I get it.
Yeah.
It shouldn't happen the other way around either.
And it sucks because when people voice out their opinions on this, they're made out to be sexist, racist, misogynist, homophobic, transphobic, whatever.
Oh yeah.
And it's like
all the insults under the
can
the
we
rainbow.
not have a conversation of why it's wrong? If it's wrong the other way, then why should this be okay? That's my point. Either everybody gets race swapped and we're fine with it, or nobody gets race swapped.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think they should just leave well enough alone. If you want something, you know, create a new character. That honestly, we could use new characters. We could use new stories.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the older stuff it's stale. And as much as I love seeing like Iron Man or anything like that, it's just like, okay, I've seen over and over and over. Like I want to see something new. So.
Yeah, to me, it's kind of been lazy that they're bringing back their classics. I've always thought this when they start making their classic movies into live actions. Not one, they're never as good as the originals. They never live up to the hype, and to me, it just seems lazy. It's like Disney, instead of focusing all the time and the effort to come up with new stories and new movies, new characters, new actors, we're just going to live action our old stuff. And the greatest example that I can do with is the Lion King live action remake.
Ugh, that was awful.
It was dark. Like it was a dark movie.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know.
I think the only one I think they did successfully was Dumbo. I thought that was.
I don't know.
I think that.
Are you talking about the original or the more recent one?
The live action one. If I had to pick one that they did good / okay with, I think Dumbo was the only one. The Beauty and the Beast I did not like. I thought it was terrible. The Lion King to me was not a good movie, and they made the story extremely dark.
Yeah.
Like it was.
I mean, the original story's pretty dark too, but
that's a whole new level.
Yeah, so the animated version kind of toned it down just a bit, but yeah. Yeah, well, I guess part of this is a very recent acknowledgement by Disney. I don't know if it was the CEO or what, or if it was the CFO, but they have acknowledged that their political choices have essentially caused a cultural, or I'm sorry, an impact on their stock price. So their choices to do what they're doing in these movies and shows and stuff is causing them, financial turmoil. Which, yeah, it's not good for their stockholders, and I think, just personally, I don't own any stock in Disney. But if you do, I think, probably looking out for their, I'm trying to think of the word for it. I know there's I wouldn't say it's not a lawsuit per se, but they do have a obligation to their shareholders to try and make money, not lose money. And, as shareholders, you have a voice to vote people out if need be. When the time comes around for those votes to happen, like, you can vote those people out and be like, hey, no, we need somebody in who's going to actually take care of this company that I'm invested in, and stuff that I'm interested in as far as content goes. So yeah, if you have shares, I know it doesn't always feel like your voting really matters in that, but it does. And if worse comes to worse and they decide to go under, well, lawsuits it is.
Yeah, because that's one thing that they can't ignore, is no matter what their political views are, what they're trying to push out there, they're going to have to answer to who's funding this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because unfortunately, it doesn't matter what their opinions or political views or their whoever side they are on the culture war. It's all about the bottom line.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, if they can't keep what they agreed to these stockholders or to these massive investors who are investing into Disney, then they're going to be in a lot of trouble. Because honestly, these stockholders, these investors, they don't care. They honestly
Yeah.
probably don't care about the political side of the spectrum or whatever. They care about getting their investment back in return
Right.
with interest. And if they don't get that, then Disney's going to have to answer for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of their
Fiduciary. That's what it is. It's a fiduciary responsibility.
and unfortunately a lot of their big movies that have come out have all flopped. They
Yeah.
have they've put more money into the movies and these TV shows than they were able to bring back.
Gotcha. Sorry, I'm having to adjust my headset. It's getting a little wonky.
Yeah, you gotta have one ear out.
Yeah, it's yeah. But anyway, that's pretty much all I had on that. Really, I personally, I hope they can pull stuff around. I think they need to probably demonopolize. And I know they they don't technically they're not technically considered a monopoly, but if you look at how much they've acquired, I would strongly disagree. They control a lot of, studios and stuff, and I think they need to get rid of some of those studios. Not close them down, but sell them off to other to another company that's going to take care of it,
Sell the Marvel studio to Sony. Sell it to Sony.
Yeah.
Look what Sony's doing for the Spider-Man franchise.
Yeah.
They're topping charts. Even they're also doing it right. Like they're including who's the new Spider? It's from the Spider-Verse. It's Miles Morales, I think.
Yeah, Miles Morales. He's the. I'm not gonna say he's the new Spider-Man. He's not really taking over. It's just kind of like
they're adding him
another Spider-Man. Yeah. They're adding him in. Now, some people might argue that they are trying to replace the the original Spider-Man, but if you play the games, that doesn't quite add up. Now in the comics, that might be different, but I haven't read the comics, so.
But what I appreciate is instead of getting rid of Peter Parker, they're adding somebody new in there to be side by side with him. Instead of replacing them, they're adding, which I appreciate what Sony's doing. Because what Disney's done, they've race swapped or gender swapped instead of adding somebody new to fit their narrative.
Yeah. It's not like, oh, Peter Parker's, different color, different gender now. No, it's a new character that's just taking over. Not taking over, but he's training alongside Peter Parker
to become
probably
the next
one
Spider-Man.
day he'll take the mantle. It's a lot like Batman Beyond, slightly different, story wise, but Bruce Wayne mentored Terry McGinnis to become the next Batman because Bruce wasn't really up to it anymore. I mean, yeah, he still could kick butt, but
he got too old.
He got old, yeah. So, but honestly, I think they did perfectly. They did that show really, really well in terms of how to pass the mantle on to the next individual. And I'm kind of sad they didn't, continue with the Terry McGinnis Batman Beyond because it was really great.
The Batman animated series though before that was really
Oh yeah. I grew up on that.
You remember Mr. Freeze? Honestly, yes. Mr. Freeze is somebody who I can honestly connect to. I don't know if you've heard the saying, a hero will sacrifice one person to save everybody, a villain will sacrifice everybody to save one person.
Yeah.
And I connected so well because Mr. Freeze, all he wanted was his wife at the end of the day. That's all he wanted. He didn't care about anything else. He just wanted his wife.
Yeah.
And they brought him back in several times where he saved Batman from other villains too. There were times where they worked together.
Yeah. Pretty sure he's not the only one either, so. But yeah, anyway, that pretty much wraps up what I had to say about that.
Yeah, honestly, I really hope Disney either comes to its senses and starts making good stuff again, or they sell off these companies to somebody who's actually going to make good movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
I suggested Sony because Sony's doing good with the Spider-Man franchise and they're taking very good care of it. They're not really pushing a narrative. They're just trying to give you the best gaming experience. And I feel like if they had the complete rights to Marvel, then we could get some good Marvel movies.
Sure, sure. And I mean, they have rights to other characters from the Marvel universe. So,
who has the right to Venom again? Because I don't think it's Disney or Sony.
I'm pretty sure it was Sony because they made the last Venom movie.
Yeah,
it may have been like in association with Marvel, but
yeah, there was some more. They were colluding to Venom was going to meet Peter Parker in their last movie.
Yeah, and kind of sucks that they didn't do that because he was supposed to be like the other villain there, instead of like, who was it? Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Sandman, and Electro, and then Venom was supposed to be there, but obviously he wasn't. So
because Disney does not want to work with Sony.
Well, no, he was in the movie. It was just like he got stranded on an island somewhere. So instead of like being where the other people were, he ended up somewhere way off elsewhere. Story wise, it didn't really make a whole lot of sense. It seemed like a little bit of a plot hole, but
although it was a good.
Oh, it was a really great movie. I love seeing all three Spider-Man together because, like, Tobey, I love seeing all three Spider-Man together because, like, Tobey, Maguire, Spider-Man.
He's my Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's got a place in my heart. I love those movies. But I really liked Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man. And then the new guy, I can't remember his name, but he does a really... Yeah, Tom Holland, there you go. He does a really, really good job.
I like Tom Holland because Stan Lee once quoted is Tom Holland is what I envisioned in Spider-Man. And
he was an actual kid when they started filming, so it was like it makes sense. Like he's supposed to be like that college or pre-college age kid going into being a college age kid. So, yeah. But anyway,
but that got so it hurt because I can't believe they killed Aunt May. Why would you do that? That hurt. It physically hurt.
Spoiler alerts.
The movie's been out. If you haven't seen it, that's your problem.
Nah. But all right. Well, we're gonna get into the next topic, or do you want to bring up one?
This is probably going to be our biggest topic of the live stream, and we're talking about our good old multi-billion-dollar friend, the most successful CEO in the history of mankind, and that is our good old friend Elon Musk and his nuclear lawsuit.
Yeah. I don't know how long it's been. I need to start writing this stuff down. But
been a couple weeks.
He announced, or well, I don't know if he announced, but basically he's got a lawsuit against Media Matters, I believe.
Because Media Matters basically launched this, I don't know really how to word it, a plot or a scheme or something, and it worked.
It's like a campaign, basically, they were saying that there was advertising on the platform next to hateful
white supremacy stuff.
Yeah, it was like, oh, it's appearing next to Nazi stuff or hate speech, white supremacist stuff, and like that was their claims. And they, I think, shared pictures to like back up their claim, but Elon basically called bullshit.
Though I actually
the thing is like when you're doing ads, like as an advertiser, when you go to advertise, you pick what you want your ads to show up with. So it'll show up next to things that you want. So if they did that, they did it intentionally. So
I was watching this about a week ago. Shout out to the Black Conservative Perspective. He's one of my political news channels that I go to kind of get up to dates on what's going on. I have like a left and a right political channel that I watch that are not radicalized, they're not extremists, and they just tell it how it is. They're honest about it, which I respect. But he did a video covering this, and basically they had manipulated the algorithm to pull up those ads, and they followed a bunch of neo-Nazis, Nazi propaganda, white supremacist profiles. They followed them and constantly refreshed and manipulated the algorithm to do that. Then they launched this blog to take down Elon Musk, because unfortunately Twitter is making money through advertisements, kind of like YouTube.
Yeah.
And if advertisers are not happy, they will leave. Adpocalypse 2016. YouTube has not been the same since the Adpocalypse. But
I'm pretty sure the first Adpocalypse was what, like 2008, 2009? Where I don't remember. It's been so long ago, but it was a mess, and a lot of content creators were just absolutely pissed about it. So,
but they're trying to hurt Elon Musk, because basically Elon Musk bought Twitter with the purpose, because Twitter is the most popular social media.
Period. Yeah.
And he's trying to bring free speech to the platform. Is it perfect? No. Is it better than it's ever been? Yes. I'm actually considering getting a Twitter profile. We're probably going to get a Twitter profile for the Situation Podcast to kind of help spread the message about this channel. But a lot of people are very upset about it. They're very upset with Elon Musk because it's going against them. They need censorship. They need to hide things. They can't allow people to see certain things because it gets people thinking, and they don't want people to think.
Yeah, that was kind of the whole thing that came out after he purchased
the Twitter files.
Yeah, the Twitter files, when they came out after he purchased it, he released it, and it showed that, there was a backdoor for government officials to come in and, look at stuff, and they were also communicating with them on a regular basis on who to censor, what information, to censor, and it's just nuts. Like,
that's why
I get it. Like, if someone says something false, okay, you should, if you read it and you're like, I wonder if that's true, do some research. If someone says something that's true and then it gets flagged as false, well, hey, that's BS. But you should be able to see it and go and do your research. Like, it's simple as that. But I don't know what the whole deal is going on with everybody wants to censor, and Google and Facebook, all these other big platforms, there's still a lot of censorship going on, which sucks.
The Hunter Biden laptop store was suppressed before the election.
Yeah, because a big percentage of people wouldn't have voted for him if
they knew.
Yeah, at least that's
the FBI came into a bunch of these social media platforms, to Meta and Twitter, and they basically said, "You see this? Take it down. This is Russia propaganda. This is not real." And a lot of the stuff was suppressed and hidden. And in the Twitter files, they showed. It's interesting because not only did the Biden campaign, but I think to a certain extent the Trump campaign kind of were trying to push a narrative to a certain extent to try to help them win, because they did mention something about the Trump campaign doing it not as bad as the Biden campaign, but they had some involvement in that too.
Gotcha. I'm not really sure.
We need to go.
I don't remember.
We should go back and find them, the Twitter files.
Yeah,
that'd be a great video to talk about.
Yeah, because I don't care who you're with, like which side of the aisle you're on.
No one's above anyone.
No, and you should be utilizing a platform such as social media of any sort to censor people's free speech. Now, some censorship is good. Obviously, we don't want to see certain, killing or porn or stuff like that. We definitely don't want to see like CP, floating around on the internet. That kind of stuff needs to be taken down. And what what the big thing is, I guess, right now with this lawsuit is it's not just Media Matters, but like there's a lot that's also going on. Right now, it's a lot with the advertisers, like Disney pulling their advertisement from X. So all of these advertisers are leaving because of the claims from Media Matters. So big lawsuit on them. But I think there's also some lawsuits against some of these advertisers. I could be wrong, and I don't want to get it mixed up. So do your research.
Do you know who Dana White is?
Yes.
He's like the CEO of the UFC, right?
I don't know if he's the CEO, but maybe.
Does he like own the business or something?
I honestly I couldn't tell you. I can pull it up. I can find out.
But basically, I like what he has to say.
He is the president of Ultimate Fighting Championship.
I like what he has to say because he made it very clear he's not going to bend the knee to advertisers.
Right.
Because he made it very clear in an interview he had recently is when one advertiser leaves, another one can walk in because they're always going to have millions of people have eyes on this.
Right.
And advertisers see that as dollar signs. So Dana White made it very clear, dude. He's talking about an advertiser, I think that sponsored like treadmills or exercise bikes or something for his gyms. And they were trying to tell him how to run his company. Like, hey, we don't like this person. You can't be around this person or socialize or talk to him on this. And he basically said, well, you can leave. I'm not changing how I've done things for you.
Right.
Because he's not going to bend the knee to advertisers. I wish other companies would do this. Because a lot of companies
make a huge difference.
A lot of companies don't understand that the companies themselves have more power than the advertisers. The advertisers leave, that's fine. There will be other advertisers to take their place. Because you can't find something to fill that void of revenue.
Well, you can. It's regular people. So what a lot of places are doing now is asking, the people that actually appreciate the hard work and information and all of that goes into, like a content creator, support them. Go to their website, buy their merch. If they're offering a service such, I'm trying to think of a good example. I guess like the Daily Wire, they post stories and actual news stuff. You can subscribe to them. They're putting out movies and stuff.
One movie I kind of want to go see is, have you heard about their new comedy?
I don't want to see it. I get the gist and joke of it, but it's just not for me.
I like it. I like offensive humor. I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way, but like I feel like we should learn to laugh at more serious situations. That way, we're not easily offended or triggered by it. If we could just kind of laugh it off, I think we would be more better off as a society.
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah, people getting offended by the smallest crap it's ridiculous. And it's not that. That's not the reason I don't want to go see it. It's just it's not my cup of tea.
Not your kind of comedy.
No, not really. I don't know, like Jim Carrey, Adam Sandler, that kind of comedy. It's
Kevin Hart.
It may not be like the most. I love Kevin Hart. He is pretty funny. But like that's my kind of comedy. I'm not trying to watch something about a guy dressed up as a woman pretending to be a woman in female sports. Like, hey, I'm sure there's an audience for that, and I understand it is intentionally offensive, and that's fine. I don't have any problem with that. It's just not for me.
A lot of people are very getting upset. They're calling it the most triggering movie of the year, and that kind of fits the narrative because let's take a Kevin
I'm pretty sure that's in their advertisement. That's what they call it. So
because like I'm not somebody that gets easily offended over stupid stuff. I'll voice my opinion, but I'm not going to sit here and melt down on the internet over it.
Yeah.
But let's take a Kevin Hart movie called Night School. You've obviously seen Night School, right?
I don't think I have seen that one.
Well, basically, Kevin Hart never graduated high school. He never got his GED. He never got his high school diploma. And now he's having to go to night school to try to get his GED so he can advance to the next part of his life. That's basically the gist of the movie. And they're basically making fun of everybody in the process. Okay, that's a Kevin Hart movie. We're going to make fun of everybody and we're going to have a good laughing time. And as that would typically offend somebody like me and my brother. My brother's having to get his GED, and I've struggled with education myself personally. I haven't been giving the proper tools to get to that point. I eventually got to the point, but still, if I was as sensitive, that would offend people like me who have to struggle to get that sort of stuff. Because there's a lot of people who didn't have the opportunity to graduate high school. There's a lot of people who don't have their GEDs, and easily offended people would cancel Kevin Hart for making fun of their struggles, but they didn't, because it's a comedy. You're supposed to sit back and laugh. You're not supposed to take it seriously. I feel like the Daily Wire is trying to do that with the whole transgender cultural war kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of respect them a little bit more because of that approach. Because if we can just learn to not take things seriously, kick back and relax. Obviously, there's serious topics you can't get around that you have to take seriously, but like gender, race, whatever, we just need to stop taking that so seriously and just mellow out. Just laugh. Just accept it. Just come on.
For sure.
So I don't know if I want to see it, because you have to subscribe to the Daily Wire, and unfortunately the Daily Wire, specifically Ben Shapiro, has been doing a lot of stuff I have not been happy with.
Yeah, I don't want to get into that with this, but yeah.
For that reason, I'm probably not going to see it, because I'm not happy with the guy. He needs to sort some things out.
For sure. But like kind of getting back on track here. So there's I'm going to see if I can share it with you. Give me a second. We'll see if it hopefully will work. So I'll share this picture. Hopefully it'll show up. Can you see that?
We're going to watch the stream right here. All right, it's pulled up.
Okay. So this is from the Attorney General of Texas, Ken Paxton. So this is kind of in congregate with what Elon Musk did with his lawsuit. He, the Attorney General, filed a lawsuit for fraudulent activity, or potential fraudulent activity, basically for manipulating data on X, or formerly Twitter. So if you want to read that, you can. You can pause and read that. The other one that we're going to kind of get into is another lawsuit that popped up pretty shortly after that. This is kind of a
Musk lawsuit.
No. I unfortunately don't have the deal for his lawsuit, but what I do have is this. So this is actually Trump Media. So Trump is filing a lawsuit demanding a jury trial against all of these people, all of these corporations in here. So, I can't remember exactly what the deal was, but it basically boils down to a lot of the same stuff. Is manipulation of like news, information, the suppression of information, so on and so forth. So yeah, that's a lot of it. So the other one, I believe it's Media Watchdogs, is in a lawsuit. Like somebody's filing a lawsuit against them for basically the same stuff. So yeah. A lot of people, after this came out, like back to Elon Musk, when he mentioned it and shared his deal, a lot of people have like pledged money to like pledge for ads towards X to basically help through the process of the lawsuits and stuff. And it's because like culturally it's what they believe in, and they want to help support the website because they like what Elon is doing. So it's gonna kind of help with the website. It's gonna help with like legal fees and stuff like that. So yeah, a lot of people have pledged money, which I think is awesome.
Yeah,
I think the best thing, like as a normal everyday person, or for us, is if you have an X account and you want to support, you could get the premium, which is $8 a month, so it's not bad. Or you can upgrade to the, I don't know what the next level is, 16 a month. So it's not that bad. I know I don't have Disney Plus anymore. I don't have Netflix. Don't have Hulu. Like I saved a lot of money. Guess where I could put it? Twitter, X.
Yeah, going back to that is the whole point of that is so you can get the blue check mark.
Yeah, absolutely. It helps like boost your views and stuff like that. And it supports the website.
A lot of people were very upset for that decision for one reason only. Is because it gave people like you and me a voice on the platform.
100%.
And a lot of people were very upset about that, mostly big corporate politicians.
Yeah. Not only them, but people like what's his name? The guy who wrote It.
Stephen King.
Stephen King. His little
What did he do?
His tweets when all of that was happening is just funny. And then there's AOC, I think, had a meltdown about it too. And it was just like, it's $8. Y'all make a ton of money. Why are you complaining about $8? Like, you're kidding, right?
Yeah. But, and a lot of people, is weird because Elon Musk, other than I think 2020 and I think 2016, he's always voted Democrat.
Yeah.
But he's not a Democrat. He's a classical liberal. Because I'm pretty sure he stopped voting Democrat because he saw the way the party was going. And
yeah.
He doesn't support, he is very pro free speech. And a lot of people don't understand, okay, here's the deal. Free speech is also hate speech. It's also offensive speech. Free speech is the right to say whatever you want.
Yeah. 100%. No, I mean,
there's a difference between hate speech and speech that you hate. And unfortunately, the line has been so blurred, I don't think people really understand that anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, it definitely blurred because, it might just be something they disagree with and they're like, oh, that's hate speech. No, you just disagree with what I had to say. Now, what would be considered hate speech is, using racial slurs or, I don't know, targeting a specific thing about a person, like a discriminatory vocabulary towards an individual or a group of individuals. Now, can you say those things? You should be able to, absolutely. Is it appropriate? No. Are there consequences for that? Sure.
I don't think there should be consequences on the things that you say. Well, obviously, if you're making like threats or something, then depending on the threat, there should be consequences. But if you're just talking and you're saying maybe hateful things or racial things or things that are just going to genuinely upset somebody, I don't think you should be punished for that.
Well, I mean, you're going to lose a lot of your supporters.
You're going to lose respect, but you shouldn't be punished by a platform or by law enforcement like that, because freedom of speech is freedom of speech. No one can change that. And a lot of people have been punished. Like, a lot of people in the UK, like, I don't know if you know about this story. This happened, like, literally within the week. Like, two teenagers at, like, a football game were arrested for making fun of a female ref.
Where at?
The UK.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't heard about that. The most recent one I'd heard about is in Ireland with the stabbing. And then now they're having it. Basically, the Irish are having an uprising, and the person in charge is like saying some very crazy, and I do mean crazy things. Basically, telling the people, like their police force, like, kill them. And it's just like, what? That's insane.
Yeah, it's a lot of things. Free speech is basically dead in Europe. I don't think free speech was ever really a thing in Europe. And unfortunately, that's being moved over to the United States because two things is there was two teenagers arrested at a football game because they made fun of a female ref. Because they were being a little bit sexist towards her, they were arrested for that. And I think they were banned from participating or seeing a football game for like 5 years. And then there was another incident that happened like several months ago where an autistic lady was arrested because she thought a female cop was a lesbian aunt.
But no, I don't think that's how that story goes. I think it's just she made an observation how she looked like.
She looked like a lesbian aunt.
Yeah, she looked like her, but the comment that she made, and then they drug her out, made a whole big ordeal about it instead of just just brush it off your shoulders, like big whoop.
Yeah, she basically got arrested because she thought a female officer was a lesbian. And to be fair, she does look like a stereotypical lesbian. I'm not going to go out there and assume something because you know the first 3 letters of assume. But at the same time, are you really going to get dragged kicking and screaming from your home, put in handcuffs, and thrown in the back of a squad car because you accidentally said something?
Right.
That's ridiculous. And I feel like a lot of that's being pushed to the United States.
I will say that their speech laws over there have gotten more and more diminished and much more restricted. But England and London and Ireland, they've been able to say whatever the hell they want to for a long time, well before us, Now, the one thing you weren't really allowed to do was talk bad about the crown, any of the royal family or anything of that sort, because they would come after you. Now, I guess I kind of get it, but at the same time, a little ridiculous, if the crown is doing something messed up, should be open to judgment.
It's like if I went on national news and disrespected the Biden family and then I get arrested for it.
Right.
Same concept.
Yeah, essentially. I guess it depends on what you say, but yeah. So, but yeah, I would say that with these lawsuits that are going on, I hope something positive comes out of it, because they're just causing chaos. These corporations that are trying to take away, our rights through manipulation, really. So
people don't also understand is if Twitter doesn't make any money, Elon Musk is going to be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, the $44 billion, that's just pocket change for him. He's got way more money in the bank. He's still flying and destroying rockets for the goal of helping humanity, for crying out loud. NASA's not even doing that. And they're a government-funded corporation.
Well, I was going to say, he's got Tesla, and then he has SpaceX. Now he has X. Like, he's got multiple companies to kind of... You can't really intermingle your funds, per se, but what money he does, make, he can utilize that. If it's his money, he can use it for his company. He just can't commingle the funds. But I don't see him doing that. He's a pretty smart man. So.
I will say I really don't support Tesla and what they're doing. I'm not big on electrical cars because I know the damage that will cause to the earth in the long run. But Tesla is the second most successful car company in the world.
Yeah.
Because there's only been 2 car companies that have never filed for bankruptcy, and that is Ford and Tesla.
I can't believe Ford has never filed for bankruptcy. That just blows my mind. But
Henry Ford, God give him props.
Yeah, he's a smart man.
He automated and paved way for the American roadways.
Yeah.
And especially during World War II, like what the Ford company was able to do for the country, was honestly amazing. They were mass production, weapons, clothing, armor, they even partnered with Willys Jeeps to mass produce the Willys Jeeps. Because Willys was a small company, they couldn't mass produce or help the United States military with Jeeps. They couldn't supply it, so they partnered with the Ford Motor Company to mass produce these things to help the war effort.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, it's wild. I just hope everything comes out for the better, honestly.
Yeah.
No
one's gonna take.
I don't.
The only way to take down Elon Musk is if you assassinate the guy, and he's got some very hefty assassination insurance. No one's going to. Any smart person's not going to attempt that. You can't.
I hope not.
He's got He's got a lot of money. He's got a lot of power, and he's got a lot of influence. And he's honestly doing a lot. He's doing a lot positive for the world, regardless if people appreciate it or not. So no one's gonna stop him. Even if every advertiser pulls out on Twitter, he's going to be fine. The platform doesn't need to make money. He just wants a platform where people have the right to express themselves.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's all I got for it.
So you got?
Yes, sir.
All right, what else? One of the things that I would love to talk about. Let's see. Probably want to start off with Gen Z versus millennials, and who is to blame for the downfall of the United States.
Okay.
And this is a good conversation because I am Gen Z and you are a millennial. What better people to talk about it than us?
Well, that's fair.
Because you brought up a good point. It's the politicians that ruin the country, which you are right. But keep in mind, we're still a country of the people. And the people voted for these buffoons, so.
Yeah.
Like, look at the 2020 election. Overwhelmingly amount of young people between my age and your age voted for Joe Biden, and we can obviously see the negative consequence of that.
I don't know, it's pretty close. There's only like 40,000 between the actual victory numbers. But I get what you're saying. I don't know. I don't think either of us are to blame, like Gen Z or millennial. I think it comes down to an individual basis, because really you can go back to the baby boomers, then you know, the Gen X, then goes what, millennial, then Gen Z, and then we got what, Gen Alpha, I think, coming up. But
yeah, I don't know the next generation.
You can go back every generation, and you can find something that generation did that has kind of accelerated like issues with this country. You know, obviously we have certain policies and stuff in place that make it really difficult to, I guess, like buy a house. There's like the job market is kind of in shambles, really, the way it works, the way it functions. It doesn't work like it's supposed to. It definitely does not work how it used to. So there's levels of this. Now, I will say that now that millennials are starting to come into power, and even some like older Gen Z, they're starting to move into positions of power, and trying to change things. Now, we won't know what that's going to be like for another couple of years, probably 5-10 years. But once that happens, I think we'll start to really see what's going to happen. But right now, I don't think either of our generations are to blame for the downfall. Millennials have made bad choices, sure. Gen X, generation before mine, made some really bad choices, and the boomers did too. And I've watched a lot of, Gen Zs watching TikTok like all day. Some of them not wanting to work. I'm not saying all, and I definitely don't want to like target. It's kind of why I don't like talking about this. I don't want to target any specific generation. It comes down to an individual basis. I'm different from a lot of the other millennials of my age. I'm nothing like them. I am, a little more like an older generation.
Like
What's that?
what I struggle with is my generation is a lack of connection. I
See that?
it is so hard to find another person of my age because what 21-year-old wants to work? What 20-year-old is working in oil and natural gas because they want to? Like,
Yeah.
it's a lot of these things. I feel like my generation is mostly made up of entitled, spoiled brats. And I, because I know there are a handful of people out there that are not, but to me, of what everything I have seen up till this point, the vast majority of these people are made up of just lazy people. They don't want to do anything. They don't contribute to a society. They're stuck thinking in one way. They're not open minded. They don't think for themselves. They sit there and look at a phone and they base that off how they're going to live their lives. And it's
Yeah.
ridiculous and upsetting because I mean I work with an older gentleman. He's 69 years old, and I talked about this with him, and he told me something that you can't let your generation depict on how you are going to be. Because I'm completely different from my generation. I've met one person who's a little younger than me, and that's be only because he was raised in a good household.
Yeah.
And problem is, it's because I've seen so many people who are sitting here in terms of like voting. They're voting for these bad policies and bad decisions. And then they're coming back and complaining about them, complaining they can't afford for groceries, complaining they can't afford a house, complaining they can't afford to have a family,
Right.
complain they can't afford to go to college, complain about college debt, when they're not sitting here thinking about their actions have contribute to this. And because there's so many Gen Zs now that are 18 or older that have been voting and contributing, and I feel like that has caused some of the problems, not all of them, but reasons why we are the way we are right now, because a lot of people, a lot of young people voted for Joe Biden for the fact is they hated Trump. And a lot of that goes back to social media and what
Oh,
they
for
pushed,
sure.
because Gen Z basically live out of their phones,
Yeah.
and they're not going to sit there and think for themselves. They're going to just sit there and look on their phone and believe what everybody else believes. It's just
Yeah.
how it is. It's
Well,
brainwashing the mind.
there is a lot of that going on for sure. And I like again, like I said, I don't want to target any
Yeah.
specific
I
generation.
I
I
hope
think
my
it comes down to an individual level, but you do have to kind of, stop and see, oh, well, on a broader spectrum, there are, a lot from that generation that's doing that. Okay, I get that. It still comes down to an individual
yeah.
level. It also comes down to a lot of things that are going on. Like I said with TikTok, it's just garbage played over and over and over and over, and it's just brain rot, and it's affecting how a lot of these people who watch that kind of stuff. It does, to an extent, affect the way they think, and it's not healthy. It's not healthy to be on stuff like that constantly. It's not good to be on social media all the time either. I put my phone down when I'm not using. Yeah, I put it down a lot. Um, don't use it a whole hell of a lot other than watching videos on YouTube, mostly educational stuff. Or if I'm doing something, posting a video on my channel, which I've slowed way down, obviously, but I've got a lot of other stuff going on that I'm more interested in.
I really do wish and hope the best for my generation, because regardless of how I feel, I'm stuck in it. I don't get to pick and choose the generation I'm part of.
Right.
And I I really do hate my generation. I And to all the people out there who are hardworking, that do contribute, that are genuinely good people and not following the rest of the crowd, I am very sorry that you're having to be, because I don't want to group people into the mass majority, because I know there's so many individuals that are not like this. There's a
Right.
lot. But because the mass majority are like this, it's hard to. And that's hard because a lot of people who just assume I'm a certain way because of my age. And it does upset me because I am so much more than that. Because I make it an effort every day that I'm not like my generation, that I'm going to be different. I am going to stand out as an individual. I'm not going to follow the crowd. And I really wish more people my age would do that because they're promoting a certain lifestyle that is ultimately going to lead to their destruction. Like didn't want to get into this, but so many people in my generation they're either on OnlyFans or they're buying OnlyFans, and that is hurting the mind too. That type of content is bad for you. It messes up the mind.
Yeah, it's very unhealthy to have an addiction or a predilection towards that kind of stuff.
Not judging anybody who does do OnlyFans, because there are some people that do it because they feel like it's their only option. And as somebody who feels like that they don't have an option to make money or to go work where they want to work, I understand that to a point. Doesn't change that it's ultimately bad, but still, I'm not going to judge people for doing that. I'm going to judge the people that are going to sit there and buy it and sit there and exploit you for money, because that's what it is at the end of the day, that they're paying to have you exploit your body for money. And right. I just don't think that's right. And nobody understands the long-term psychological effects that it does on a person. Like, do you know Mia Khalifa, the ex-porn star?
I know of her.
Well, basically, she's been, ever since she's left the industry, she's been in 3 failed marriages. And because she can't find happiness in a partner, she's now basically on social media promoting women not to get married or to find their significant other. And
that's shitty.
I feel like a lot of that contributes to what she had did in her in her adult content, because it's so hard to get that unprogrammed from you. And she had done it for so long. I feel sorry for her, but at the same time, at the end of the day, she ultimately made that choice that led her down that path. She didn't have to. I mean, she might have felt like that was her only option at the same time, but I feel like a lot of people just don't know that they have a choice. They feel like that's what they have to do, and it goes back to social media.
I don't think it's so much of not having a choice. I think it's looking for an easy out. Like, oh, I can just sell my body on the internet and make a ton of money. I think that's the delusion that a lot of them fall into. And then you also have the fact that, yeah, if you do this kind of stuff, guess what? It's on the internet forever. There's people that archive that crap. You might think it's, oh, they have to pay to get it. Guess what? They archive it and then they'll share it for free elsewhere. And it's not worth it. It's not worth it to do to yourself. Somewhere down the line, your kids find out that you did an OnlyFans or anything like that. Like, it's gonna destroy you long term. Short term gains are not worth the long term failure.
Like, I'm glad you brought that up, because Kim Kardashian. We all know why she got famous. We all know why.
Yep.
She had a meltdown that her kids found that video. She had an absolute
meltdown. What did you expect?
And Mia Khalifa, she sat there and made it very clear that working in that industry was the worst thing she ever did, and she regrets it. But then she goes ahead and makes an OnlyFans.
Yeah, it didn't make a whole lot of sense when she's like, "Oh, I quit. It was the worst decision I ever made," and then she jumps right back into it.
Because
I mean, she's doing it herself, which I guess I sort of get, but at the same time, it's like you're still doing it. You're not. You haven't changed anything other than
you didn't learn
location.
Anything.
Yeah, no, and anybody who's calling for not making a family or anything like that, I feel bad for you, because it's one of the best things you can do with your life.
Yeah, it sucks, because I'm sure she's like a really nice, respectable person if you sat down and got to know her. But because of everything that she has done on the internet and everything she has promoted all the way up to this point, it's so hard to sit down and respect her or take her seriously.
Sure. Yeah, no, I get it.
I do.
And I agree.
I do hope the best for her, but if she's already been in 3 failed marriages and she's sitting here basically because she can't find happiness, because it goes back to, because a lot of people think like this, okay, if I can't have something, then no one else can have it.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes like that. She can't find happiness in a marriage because her poor life decisions have made that difficult for her. So now she's going to sit here and tell everybody else, is like, yeah, don't do this. Don't do it. You don't really want it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of guys out there that would love to get with her and have a relationship with her. The thing is they're probably not the sort that
they're not there
she's
for the right
interested
reason.
in. Well, not only that, but it's people that she's probably not interested in. Body type or personality type, people do have types that they prefer. And yeah, it's probably not her style, so she's going after a particular type of man. That's what she wants. Okay, nothing against you for that, but those men know what you used to do, and I probably feel like they get into the relationship. Oh, this will work. I can fix this. I can live with this, and then they can't.
I hate those cocky guys, and I'm just as guilty to a certain extent. You see that
I can fix her.
You see that girl is like, I can fix her. I can take care of her. I can make her better. No, the fuck you can't. Nope. You need to quit while you're ahead. Don't.
For your own sanity and health. Yeah, no, don't.
Quit while you're ahead. Just, and that's another thing is, a lot of my generation is doing that sort of stuff. They're selling their body for money. Because OnlyFans, Pornhub, whatever. Okay, it's basically legal prostitution at the end of the day. You're selling yourself for money. Regardless of, okay, in some instances it's just pictures and videos, and then in some instances it's physical, but you're still selling your body for money, and you can't get around that.
Yeah.
And and because it's honestly disgusting, because I've seen several compilation videos of where these random guys ask women up in the street what their body count is, and it's honestly terrifying. I'm not trying to judge anybody, because get it, you're young, have fun. I mean, that's not really for me. I'm more about saving myself for a person that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with, like my girlfriend. I'm glad I didn't do anything with my first girlfriend. That would have been something I probably would have had a hard time living with. But I feel like in terms of sex or whatever, that physical connection should only be shared with somebody you want to spend the rest of your life with.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of just throwing it away on every stranger you meet on Tinder. And
yeah,
did you see people saying, oh, I have 10 bodies, I have 20 bodies, I have 30 bodies, I have bodies up in the triple digits. And I'm sitting there like, you're 18 years old. How have you had the time to do this?
Yeah, that's insane.
Like, if I saw another 21-year-old and she told me she had my body count's 3 years old. Okay. There's something there. Okay, because those could have been serious relationships. That's something to work with. But if you meet somebody who's 18 years old and has like a triple-digit body count, you're sitting there like,
concerning.
And that's a lot of baggage to take on. Obviously, there are men out there who couldn't care less.
Honestly, at that point, if just lie. Like, I'm not trying to advocate for that, but woo, I wouldn't admit to that. There's no way.
It's unrealistic. How can you expect a self-respecting man to deal with that knowledge? It's hard.
Yeah.
Because it comes back to a mental point of view, is like, there's always going to be doubt, because she's been with so many people. You're going to sit there and think, am I enough for her? Can I make her happy?
Yeah.
Is there a void I'm not filling?
Yeah, which, that boils down to confidence, like your own personal confidence.
Which I don't have a lot of.
But it's more than that, though. It's not just one or the other. It's like, I don't know. Things like that back in my day probably would not have gone over as well. Huh?
Yeah, back in the day, that it was not accepted in society, and now in today's society, we're like pushing for that for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're pushing for it. That's bad in the long term.
Yeah, I would say that culture, the hookup culture, and that's what it is. That did start, I want to say, probably after I got out of high school, and it probably started somewhat before then too, because I know there was a lot of people getting in trouble for it, like in school, which is nuts. Like y'all don't need to be doing that stuff at that young. Um, Wait till you're older. But the crazy thing is like it wasn't just it's the same people. No, it was like one person, and then it was like another person and another person with that original person. So it's like they were clearly jumping, spreading diseases around the school, and it's like what? Why? I don't know. I guess I don't understand like the appeal to it. So
I don't understand it, and I'm probably never going to understand it. It's just that type of mentality and lifestyle is honestly disgusting to me. I'm not trying to judge anybody who has done these things, but at the same time, like, it kind of goes back to what you said, short term versus long term. Like, this is short term. Like, whatever this is doing for you is just short term. And a lot of people complain, okay, because it's going to get really, I don't know how to put it, but basically, you can't sit there and expect a man to accept you after everything that you've done to yourself, because there's a lot of women out there that are going to hoe themselves out. And that's basically what it is. Just selling it as they're going to hoe themselves out. And then by the time they're ready to settle down and find a man, and they're sitting here complaining that they can't find a man to accept them or want them, is like, what do you expect? Like, after you've done all that, why would anybody want to take on that extra baggage? That's going to cause so much problems in the long term.
Sure. And absolutely it does. So yeah, it's.
I don't know if your generation is as guilty of that. I know my generation is pretty guilty of it.
Well, I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure there's a lot that went on. Obviously, we don't know what everyone was up to, which is something that nowadays, we have information at the tip of our fingers on our phones. We can find out what Susan Ann down the street's doing at 9 p.m.,
Creepy.
I know, it is. It's really creepy. So
I really do hope that there is a change for the positive before it's too late, because a lot of people are predicting that there's going to be, come 2040 or 2030, there's going to be more single women in the history of the country, with, according to these major charts that everyone's going towards in terms of a direction, that there's going to be more single women than there ever has been.
I mean, I guess I could see it, but I feel like something will change before that happens.
I hope some change happens, because that's not going to do good for the country when no one's wanting to get married or settle down anymore. And a lot of men don't even want to get married anymore. Not for that reason. I mean, that's probably a reason, but a lot of men are just scared of getting married nowadays.
Yeah.
A lot of people see it as their marriage for a guy is more risk on him than there is a woman.
Well, with the way the laws work in favor of the woman, I kind of sort of get it.
Please,
like if you're, it's one thing. Like if you're an abusive piece of crap, okay, yeah, I get it. But if you're just like, oh hey, we have our differences, but then she's like, oh well,
I don't have
blah blah blah, huh?
I don't have feelings for you anymore. It's just that the connection's gone. So.
Yeah,
we got to play out.
Sorry, Toby's stealing the show here.
Hi, Toaster.
He's love starved, I guess.
Spoiled dog.
Yeah. All right, it's time for you to go down. Oop. There we go. Nice and gentle. Thanks for coming. All right. Well,
I'm to all the young men out there. Don't give up on marriage. There is somebody out there that you can spend the rest of your life with. Sign a prenup first. That is your safety net. Sign a prenup.
Yeah. Definitely.
Get it signed, get it notarized, then get married. That way, in the event that there is a divorce, you don't get completely screwed.
Yeah. I guess if I had a message, it'd be, kind of similar to yours, just be careful, be smart about what you're doing, and stop and think about it. You've got so much time in this world, and I know maybe it doesn't feel like it, but you really do. You've got a lot of time to stop and just enjoy life and enjoy the things that you have available to you. You don't have to rush into something.
choose the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with wisely, because a lot of people think marriage is supposed to be forever, and a lot of people don't realize that anymore. They think marriage is like a relationship: you get in, you can get out, and that's not how it's supposed to be. Marriage is supposed to
Right.
be a lifetime of commitment. Okay, you're gonna fight, you're gonna butt heads, but that's the point. You're
Right.
supposed to work
And
for it, work towards that end goal.
right. And so just be careful with your decisions in life. Try to make the best ones that you can. You
Think long
don't
term.
think long term. Absolutely. Long term benefits, long term goals. If it seems too good to be true, it more than likely is. Uh, and if it's like, oh, quick profit, long term, it's not going to help you. I mean, it might, but it's unlikely. So, uh, that's all I got.
Well, last thing, and that's probably going to be the last subject of this, because I don't have anything else to talk about.
Okay.
um, we were talking about how Disney being a monopoly and buying up all these studios. Well, there's another company that is guilty of this, and that is our good old friend. Well, not your friend, but my good old friend, Microsoft,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
their recent acquisition of Activision and Blizzard. And let me tell you, I'm disappointed, because
Well,
I was hoping with Microsoft running the show that we would finally start getting, because that has been my number one complaint from these big game companies. We're not getting finished games. We're getting half a game, or in some instances a quarter of a game, and then like a year of updates and patches to finally get the full game. Or if you're EA, then you have to pay to get the rest of the game.
yeah. Uh, it's kind of ridiculous how gaming, like what it's become. Um, I can understand like day one patch or something like that. That doesn't bother me as much. But like you get the game and then it's like, oh, get this DLC to finish the story or to improve the game. That's uncalled for. And the fact that a lot of them ship completely unfinished, like you said, Bethesda for a long time, they go way back, was bad about that, and they wouldn't even really fix a lot of the issues that were going on. They just left it up to the community. So the community did. They stepped in and they released unofficial patches to fix the game, which is nuts. That should not be how it is, but
I
that's
think
how it
their
is.
I think their only kind of close to finished game was Morrowind.
Yeah.
I think that was their last game that was actually mostly finished. Oblivion is probably the worst out of the Elder
It
Scrolls series.
yeah. I loved Oblivion, but good lord, was it awful with when it come to bugs and textures and stuff like that. Like I remember trying to go back and replay it, and like the mountains in the background were just like a solid sheet of gray, and I was like, "What is happening? This is crazy."
uh, and they did DLC so poorly too. Do you remember the famous Golden Horse Armor DLC?
I
That
do, yeah.
that
That was,
outraged everyone.
yeah, that was the start of it. That was the start of like the bad DLC stuff.
That, don't get me
Um,
wrong, Oblivion had really good DLC, like Knights of the Nine, probably my favorite DLC pack for any game,
yeah.
because I'm a massive Crusader nut. I love the history of the Crusaders and stuff like that. So that it was nice to see that in a big open world game. I'm glad Skyrim was bad. Don't get me wrong, but it was nowhere near as bad as Oblivion.
Well, yeah.
It had its
That's
problems, but it was. Oh dear lord!
Yeah, I remember when I first played it, I got launched into orbit by a giant, and I was just like, "Oh, okay. When am I gonna land?" I didn't. I just like floated up there for 20 minutes, and I was like, "I'm gonna restart the game."
Yeah,
Um,
and Microsoft did buy the Bethesda studio. They bought some other studios that were owned by Bethesda. Like they
yeah.
bought the studio that made Doom and Wolfenstein, which that are two of my favorite franchises. I love Wolfenstein: The New Order. I thought that was a good game.
Yeah, it was a pretty good game. I didn't realize that they had purchased that studio, which is disappointing because they're probably gonna
Yeah, but
Xbox lock it.
Bethesda owns the rights to the Wolfenstein and the Doom franchise.
Oh, that's right.
So
Yeah.
when they bought Bethesda, they had the rights to that too.
That
I
sucks.
mean,
But
it hasn't been a bad thing. Like, unfortunately, you don't have an Xbox, but they released a completely remastered version of Doom 3 for Xbox Game Pass.
I think it's on PlayStation. I don't know. I'd have to look.
We got a
Um,
comment.
oh, we do.
We got a comment right here. It's from Saturnine. I think that's how you pronounce your name. Sick people don't get into heaven, only natives do.
What?
I like pull it up. That's weird. Um,
Sick people don't get into heaven, only natives do.
what does that mean?
I don't know. But okay.
Thanks for the comment. That's our first comment we've received in the live stream. Um, can you explain it a little because that don't make sense.
Yeah. If you could elaborate, that'd be great. Like
Explanation, please. But back to what I was saying, and like some good has come out of it. Like it's nice getting because Doom 3 was my favorite game. Instead of it kind of being they had that same run and gun feature like the original two Dooms were. Like go in and just cause all sorts of heck. But it was nice to actually get a story in the game. Like the Doom 3 story I really liked. And they gave us an HD remastered version for the Xbox, and it looks beautifully. In fact, I have several episodes of that on my YouTube channel, and I enjoyed it. And so I was hoping that when they finally released the next Elder Scrolls game or whatever big game that Bethesda was going to release, that it would be finished, and they didn't. What is it? StarCraft? Is that what's that new game? Starfield? StarCraft?
Starfield.
Oh dear lord, that is probably not only the biggest game Bethesda has ever released, but probably the most unfinished Bethesda game. And there's no excuse. There's no excuse for it because Microsoft has owned Bethesda for several years up until this point. What the heck, Microsoft? Where is Bill Gates when you need him?
I'm not gonna comment on that.
Bill Gates is doing.
Yeah, I don't.
Bill Gates, he's doing a lot of stupid stuff with his money. I mean, he worked for it, I guess. But when he ran Microsoft, he ran Microsoft. I will give the guy that. He was a genius when it came to running the company. Everything else after, he's just kind of a. But still, like, what the heck? That just frustrated me because I never heard of the game and I was like, oh my gosh, Bethesda's finally releasing a new game. It's not Elder Scrolls like I was hoping for. But hey, maybe this is the next step to finally getting finished games. And no, it was not.
Yeah.
And that upsetted me so bad. It's like, okay, the cycle continues.
Yeah. I wasn't really all that interested in it. I was like, oh, okay, cool, another space game. All right. What I was actually looking forward to was the Baldur's Gate 3. But after it came out, and then I watched people playing it, it was just like, oh, like a lot of hypersexualized stuff. Lost my interest. So, I would say I'm kind of keeping an eye out for Dragon's Dogma 2 because it doesn't seem like they're going in that direction. I hope. Like, I don't know. I just feel like that's been a big issue. I don't know about Starfield, but I know in Baldur's Gate 3. It was a big issue. And then of course, optional, you didn't have to do it, but like the Skyrim, when I was playing that, like the modding community just went insane
Have you
with
have you played Skyrim, or have you played the mod called? It's a mod for Skyrim, but it's called Beyond Skyrim.
no.
Basically, it's so you can adventure the entire world of Tamriel.
Okay.
It's huge, honestly.
Well,
you could go to
my
parts of.
my complaint was more along the lines of like, all the nudity
Oh
and
yeah, like
that's what I was getting at, is the over sexualization in video games and how I don't appreciate it or like it.
I get that there's a certain audience for that, but I feel like there's also a time and a place for that. It's like that shouldn't be the main focus point.
Yeah.
Cool, it's an option because it kind of makes sense for movies because it helps tell the story, like in terms of character development and character relationships. But that's not what we're seeing in Skyrim. It's just wank off material.
Yeah.
But another
Yeah.
thing, but the recent studio that Microsoft had bought is Activision and Blizzard. So maybe we might get World of Warcraft on Xbox. That would be interesting. Don't know how that would work very well, but hey, the biggest MMORPG on a console. Hey, that'd be pretty cool. But at the same time, it's Diablo 4, which is owned by Blizzard, was not finished. It has gotten better, I will admit, but it was not a finished product out the gate. And that should have been the sign. But
Gotcha.
freaking their new Call of Duty, the Modern Warfare 3, something, I don't. We're just gonna they're just milking stuff at this point. It was supposed to be an add-on to a previous game, but they decided to release it as like a AAA game. And it only had like 9 months of development into it before it was released.
Yeah.
And that was just honestly frustrating, and it really frustrates me because a lot of people were upset at Microsoft because people are afraid that they're going to become a monopoly. They're using monopoly business practices in order to achieve this.
For sure. I mean, they've bought out a lot of companies over the years. So.
And I was trying to be positive. This is okay. Maybe we can get more backwards compatibility games for the backwards compatibility program, because that was Microsoft's a big goal for theirs, is to get all their consoles under one roof, which I respect because no other game company is doing that. Sony had ditched the idea completely after the PlayStation 3 flopped. They gave up on that idea, and Nintendo has never been. I don't think since the game, ever since I think the GameCube was their last backwards compatibility friendly console. They have basically been anti backwards compatibility ever since then. Like with them dropping the Wii U and not allowing you to re-download your content on the Switch. Same with the PS3. Mm-hmm. No, not the PS3, the 3DS.
Because yeah.
Like the Nintendo Switch when it came out, and I saw the console firsthand, I was like, yeah, the 3DS is going to be dead. They released a more powerful portable console against their previous portable console. So I knew the 3DS was going to be axed completely. And unfortunately, they were not friendly with backwards compatibility whatsoever, and they screwed a lot of people who purchased digital content. And Nintendo has kind of been like that to an extent. It's basically, we're going to make you rebuy the games that have been available since the 1980s because we can.
Mm-hmm.
And that really frustrates me, and it seems like that's kind of a direction that Microsoft is heading to. And it's just frustrating because I was hoping, yes, it's a negative thing. We're not going to get. I don't think Microsoft is just going to keep these games exclusively under the Xbox brand. I don't think they're going to do that because Minecraft's a big example. Because Mojang sold the entire studio to Microsoft. And Microsoft still released a PS3 and a PS4 and a PS5 version of the game. They didn't have to, because they own the game, they own the studio. So I don't think they're going to keep it exclusively. I mean, it's too early to tell, but because they did it in the past, I don't think they're going to do it moving forward. I don't think it makes sense.
I gotcha.
I feel like if they tried to do that, they would lose more money than gain.
More than likely, yeah.
But yeah, I really do hope something does change because gaming is an important part of my life, and it was upsetting that Microsoft was buying all these studios. But I was hoping with them in charge, we would finally get games that people have been asking for, games that are actually finished, no more pay to play BS, and it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. At least with their 2 games being released by Activision and Blizzard, and their game released by Bethesda. Starfield, terrible. Diablo 4, not as bad, but still released unfinished, and the new Call of Duty, which was supposed to be an add-on, released and not finished whatsoever. And it doesn't seem like nothing's changed. We're back at the same thing, except it's all being run by one corporation.
Gotcha.
Oh, and also Sony has actually received a lawsuit from the UK.
Oh, yeah?
Apparently they've been overcharging their games on the PS5 store.
Huh.
And now the UK government is actually suing them for it.
That's interesting, like, because I go on there every once in a while and I'll look at stuff, but nothing ever seemed like way overpriced in comparison to like the Steam store or anything like that. I don't know. Now I do know that like digital copy stuff was supposed to be cheaper, and that was across the board. It's like, oh, because we're not having to make a physical copy, so it should save you some money. But now they're charging the exact same amount for a physical copy versus a digital copy, it sucks, but here we are.
Yeah, I'm not. And a lot of people are afraid that all these game studios, game companies are going to start doing this. Is basically they're trying to get rid of physical media so it can be under one roof, their roof. If you wanted to buy their games, you would have to go through their store, which means they can jack up the prices however they want. And you would have to pay it because it's the only way you're going to get it.
I'm going to shut these blinds. I apologize. It's getting really, really bright.
Shine bright like a diamond.
A lot better. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't think that's a good thing for them to be able to control all of it, especially not like where I get it from. They shouldn't control that. If I want to go to a store like GameStop or Best Buy or Walmart, wherever I want to go to pick up a physical copy, I should be able to do that. And like if I want to spend more for a physical copy, okay, great. If for some reason I want to hop on Steam or the PlayStation Store or the Xbox Store and get it cheaper just to have a digital version, I should also be able to do that. But if it's the same price, or if it's only like a $10 difference, I'm going to get the physical copy, mainly because I want the physical copy. That's just how I am. But
pro physical media right here.
Yeah. But yeah, well, the chatter did not elaborate on their comment. I can kind of just assume what they meant. And I think it had to do with the Thanksgiving discussion. But, you know, they're entitled to their opinion. That's fine.
What do I mean by sick people, though? Because that kind of threw me off.
I don't know. I can only assume, and I don't want to do that, so.
I mean, you happen to come back to the stream at some point, please elaborate, because it's honestly feels like an unfinished comment.
Yeah, a little bit. But
whatever your point you were trying to get across, it didn't get across.
And we want to hear it. Like, I'm not trying to say we don't want to hear it.
Bro, free speech. Say what you want.
Yeah, exactly. We were talking about that earlier. Free speech, man. Say what you want to say.
You get banned though. That's not because of us. That's because of you.
We didn't do it. Promise. You can call us name all the names under the sun. I don't really care, but if you get banned, it's not us. I promise.
Yeah.
But well, man, really, that's all I've got.
Yeah, nothing. Anything else happened on the internet that you want to talk about?
Not that I can think of. I mean, there's a lot, to be honest. There's a lot of stuff that's been going on. There was a.
You got anything that could last 10 more minutes to get us to the 2-hour mark?
Maybe. Let me find out what this is called.
While you're thinking of that, I'm gonna go use the restroom.
Okay.
Pee break.
Let me pull it up right here. So I don't remember where it was, or what show. So this kind of goes back a little bit to the advertisers that Elon Musk has been struggling with. He was recently on a show, and they were kind of like talking to this gentleman, to Elon about it, and he's like, if you're gonna try to sabotage me, or I don't want to mess up this, but basically he just told them to go fuck themselves. And my apologies for language. I don't really like to cuss that much, but like, it's perfect. It was beautiful. Like, basically just told him, he's like, you know what? I hope you don't advertise here. So that was something that was, it was hilarious, but I like what he did, and I like that he just like, for sure. If they don't want to advertise and they want to be dirty about it, or try to, can't think of a word to properly describe it, but if they want to be like that, then yeah, go somewhere else, kick rocks. So he's gonna be gone for a little bit. Oh, he's back. You'll have to go and watch back if you want to hear what I was talking about.
What were you talking about?
Well, you'll have to go back and watch the stream. You'll have to watch it all the way through.
That's the subscriber's job, not mine.
Oh. Well, I want to say there was something else I had on my mind, but I can't really think of it. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm kind of at a loss. I had my stuff prepared, and that was all I really had to talk about for today. So
yeah, I had a couple talking points.
Let me see if I can find something really quick, just something interesting.
I went to the antique shop not that long ago, and I actually had purchased I found a brand new 32 gigabyte SanDisk Ultra SD card for my DSLR camera. Paid $5 for it, brand new.
Yeah.
And I found this 256 gigabyte Samsung SSD. Like, this has to be like something out of a pre-build, because you can only buy Samsung Evo drives.
I'm sure you can buy it like through Amazon or some other websites.
Well, I know that, but you only find, when you look up Samsung SSDs, you find their Samsung Evo drives. Like their Evo branded stuff. Like, it doesn't say what it is, other than it's a Samsung. It's a 256 gigabyte SSD, and I will be making a video putting this in my PS3. Why not my PS4? Because it's 256 gigs. This does not make sense to put in a PS4.
Yeah. Okay, well, here's something that's kind of neat.
Got this 8 gigabyte hard drive too. Don't know where that came from.
Don't know if I can pull it
80.
up. Oh no.
Pull up or pull out?
Come on now.
Gotta have a tasteless joke in there.
Let me see if I can. Okay, so Sega and a company called Anicorn, they make watches. They apparently have teamed up to make a watch. Apologize if that isn't showing up. that background deletion thing is strong. But yeah, they're apparently like partnering together to make a a Sega Genesis watch, which is really neat. So it's going to cost $800. It's going to be what's called a Mega Drive or a Genesis watch,
depending on which country you're in.
Probably, yeah.
Canada, United States, Genesis, Europe, Japan, Mega Drive.
Yeah. So if you're a big fan, that's something to watch out for. I would love to have one, but I'm not spending $800. That's crazy.
Bring back Sega 2023 Dreamcast 2.
I would love to have a Sega like console, like a new one. That would be amazing.
Would be amazing. Who owns Sega? Is Sega still an independent third-party company, or they've been bought out?
I'm pretty sure they're an independent company. They just produce games, and they partner mostly with like Sony, but they have got stuff with Nintendo as well. Yeah. And basically, they just publish games, and then they let it go out to these other consoles. They decided to quit wasting money on the console side of things.
So. It's their fault. Their hardware decisions throughout the 90s and 80s to a certain extent have led to their downfall, because people don't understand producing this hardware is very expensive. That's the most expensive part, is producing the hardware and then mass producing it.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, a lot of companies from the beginning, they've taken a loss on the actual hardware itself, and they just make money, from the clawbacks on the software, which, I mean, I get it. That makes sense, but like a lot of them just don't like the fact that they have to spend so much money just to get off, hit the ground running.
Yeah. Be interesting. Again, this is a crazy idea. But what if the original three teamed up? The original three. Atari, Sega, Nintendo.
Oh, yeah. Make a new console?
They make a new console with those games exclusively for it.
That would be pretty cool.
Because let's be honest, Nintendo's only around for their exclusives. If they didn't have their exclusive titles, they would be with Sega right now.
Yeah. I'm curious what the console would look like.
We'll take Atari's last console, Sega's last console, and Nintendo's latest console, and we make them do the fusion dance.
That would be interesting.
Supposedly,
if I can find a.
Supposedly, the PS2 was used from a stolen Atari design, never finished.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I don't.
Gosh, what was the last Atari console?
The Atari Jaguar.
The Jaguar.
Well, technically, the Jaguar CD.
Okay.
And everybody should know what the Dreamcast looks like. If not, Google Sega Dreamcast, and you'll see it.
Let me see if I can do something here. Oh, that sucks.
What?
I was trying to do some kind of AI thing. To create an image of like a console if they had all if the companies merged the console together, but it's not really working out. It's making some really weird looking stuff.
It's like giving you anime characters?
No, it's definitely consoles, but they just don't look right. They're more like amalgamations, and they're separate, not a single.
Yeah, what would a Dreamcast, Atari Jaguar, and a Nintendo Switch OLED look like?
See if I can do it this way. I know sometimes the wording you have to be very specific or simplistic, I should say. That's interesting. It gave me a vehicle. I don't know, that's odd. Let me see if I can save this. This actually isn't too bad.
That what a Switch, Dreamcast, and Atari Jaguar would look like?
Yeah. Let me see if I can pull it up really quick. Where'd it go?
Be like a gaming laptop or something.
Yeah. No, it's more like handheld. It's kind of what it looks like. Here, let me share right there. Right there. You see it? It's different.
That's interesting. Looks like it mounted a Switch.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, well, Switch. Yeah, no, that's on top. That's fine. The controller is just ridiculous amounts of buttons.
What the heck's the other thing?
The one in the orange.
Yeah, what is that?
It's just a straight up controller. Like,
what's the thing attached to the back of it?
I don't know. That's weird. It's the charging station. It needs a drill battery pack just to function.
Hey, at least it won't be like the PS4 controllers where it has crappy battery life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be interesting though. Like honestly, because Atari was the original game company. Then after that, Sega and Nintendo battled it out. Believe it or not, Sega and Nintendo released their first game consoles at the same time. Back in 1983.
Gotcha.
It was the Sega SG-1000 and then the Nintendo Famicom.
All right.
Yep. But it sucks because it'd be nice if we had some competition, like something else besides Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. Like there's room for extra competition.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're gonna see it before too long. But it's just gonna take a little more time for these individuals to kind of get some success behind them and really take off running. So I don't think it'll be too long though before we see it.
Here's hoping.
Yeah. But all right, man. I think it's about time we wrapped up.
About time we wrapped it up. Well, if you guys enjoyed this other episode of The Situation, we had a little more to talk about. The podcast wasn't nearly as long, but we talked about a lot more serious topics, a lot more controversial topics. So I want to state this out there. These are just our opinions and our perspectives of what we're talking about. We're not speaking for anybody. This is just how we feel. No one has to agree with us. Just putting that out there.
Yeah.
But if you guys enjoyed this episode of The Situation, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, hit that post notification bell. So share this channel with as many people as possible. We're trying to do some things here. And yeah, we'll keep trying to make more of these as much as we can.
Yeah.
Links to our channels and social medias and stuff will be in the description down below. I will try to have that up sometime today. I gotta change the thumbnails.
I was gonna say I worked on that new thumbnail. Hopefully it works out.
Yeah, I got a lot of work to do. I piled it all in one day again. I gotta stop doing that. Last night was crazy with the vlog. Like there's so many incredible people I can't wait to shout out.
Yeah.
Support.
I kind of wish I could have went. I wish I could have went, but I was so exhausted. Yeah, I was not going to be able to make it out there, especially that late. So
I think they're doing it. I think they're doing one more Christmas Victoria event next week.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
we could meet back up out there.
Okay,
that's something you want to do. You can vlog it. I already vlogged it.
I'm not much of a vlogger.
Yeah, I'm trying to get into vlogging. I miss doing vlogs. Uh, actually, I do have something from one of our subscribers. This has nothing to do with the situation, but for mine and your channel.
Okay.
One of our subscribers, who shall be unnamed, not because she's Voldemort, but due to privacy and family reasons, they want to see us go back on adventures like we did at the Blue River.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That is something that this individual I got to talk to really wanted us to go back and do it. They miss the classic adventure videos.
Okay.
And
yeah, that's like stuff that was on my channel, right?
Yeah, my channel and your channel.
Oh, yeah, I guess we shared it, but yeah.
That's the reason why we haven't done those videos is mostly for timing and money. It's a lot of money that goes into these traveling videos where we vlog the entire thing. Because that's what we're doing. We're vlogging the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, I guess technically, yes, it is a vlog. The biggest thing that stops us from doing it is, A, we pretty much live an hour apart from each other now.
Yep.
And B, if we're traveling to go film somewhere, a lot of places could be anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours away. So that's a lot of gas money. And then equipment, maintenance on the equipment or upgrade equipment. You know, there's a lot of costs that go into it. And I'm sure most people understand that.
Yeah.
That's why we haven't really done it, because we're sinking a lot of money into it, but not getting much out of it. And it's fun. Don't get me wrong. It's fun to just go out and have fun, go on these little adventures. But it's also, we've got to be conservative with what money we've got. Because we both individually, we have our own goals. Like, we're trying to buy a house. You guys are trying to do your own thing. So
same thing. We're basically doing the same thing. We're trying to get married and
get
a house.
Yeah. I'm saying we pretty much have the same goals. But I would love to go. I'd love to go back out to the Blue River, but I'd also like to go up to a couple other places. So maybe we can work something out in the near future.
Something I want to do is I want us to do a vacation vlog.
Oh, that would be fun.
And I want to go somewhere where it's not going to be super expensive or that long of a drive.
Okay.
I want to go to Eureka Springs, Arkansas.
Oh, I've been there. Okay.
I want to go cave hopping.
That would be fun. I don't know if they're open. A lot of caves closed due to what was it? Something to do with bats. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
So we'd have to check and make sure they are open. But
I'd like to announce one thing to everybody who is on the Unbearable Boss channel. And I want to thank you for all the love and support. Thank you for all the people who are coming over to the podcast and supporting us here and supporting Devin. And because the channels have been doing well, this podcast we just started, we're almost at 10 subscribers already. Our views are pretty good. We have more views than we do have subscribers, so that's a good thing. And because everything has been doing so well, I've decided to make an executive decision for my YouTube channel. Anyways, we're going to finally upgrade the camera equipment. And we'll talk a little bit about that since we have a little bit of time. This was the very first camera I was recording on was an iPhone. That was terrible. We're not going to talk about that. That was back in the TikTok days. No.
I will be right back, bud.
Okay. Well, guys, looks like now I'm the main host. Everything about me. But yeah, I just want to thank you guys because we're gonna start upgrading the camera equipment. This is what I started out with. This is my first real camera, and this is a Sony Handycam. This is the HDR CX240. I have for my webcam I have a HDR CX405 as my webcam. and I inherited this from my mother when she passed away, which is this Canon Rebel T3i DSLR camera, and it shoots beautifully. But the problem is, this camera, it's a pain to use by myself. I need a camera person to use this camera because it's manual zoom, manual focus, all that fun stuff, and it makes very beautiful pictures, and it makes very beautiful videos. But it's an old camera. It's from like 2012. It only can do 1080p at 30 FPS, which sucks because I want to do 60 FPS of video at least. And so we're going to upgrade the camera equipment. I'm going to try to get the Canon GSX the Canon G7X Mark III, which is a very popular vlogging camera, and it's going to enhance the quality of the videos since my channel specifically has been doing very well. That I'm motivated to finally upgrade the camera equipment because I paid not that much money for this brand new because I made it very clear I didn't want to spend a lot of money into the YouTube channel because I had no idea where it was going. But now that it's gaining in popularity and it's growing, I want to upgrade. So we're going to wait for Goutmister to get back and we'll end the live stream.
Okay, I am back.
Awesome. Just talking about what we're going to upgrade to help, and because the channel has been doing well, and when I don't know if you ever saw the original video when I unboxed this, I made it very clear. I bought this camera brand new. It's a Sony Handycam HDR CX240 from 2014, I think. And my webcam is actually the model above this, which is the CX405. That's what I'm using for my webcam. Paid $10 for it at the flea market. But I was because I have this nice this Canon Rebel, T3i HDR, and it shoots beautifully and records beautifully. Problem is, it's an old camera. I'm stuck at 1080p 30 FPS. I would like to do 60, and I need a camera person to use it. It's a pain in the ass to use by myself.
Yeah,
manual zoom, manual focus, whatsoever. But when I got this camera, I said I didn't want to spend a lot of money on the YouTube channel because I had no idea where it was going or if anybody was ever going to really care or watch the YouTube channel. But now that the YouTube channel has been doing pretty well, that I'm going to upgrade to something. Gotcha. It's going to be the best of both worlds. Something easy to use and record by myself while also producing identical quality to this. We will be upgrading.
I've got a nice little camera here, but it's mainly just for still photography. So, disappeared.
Have you ever recorded with it? Because I don't think you've used it.
I've taken pictures. I have not tried to make video. I don't really think it's meant for video, though.
Neither is the HDR. It didn't stop me from trying.
So I'm sure I could try. I love this chunky little lens here, but
yeah, that's a Samsung camera, isn't it? Never knew Samsung made cameras like that.
Yeah,
like an SDR camera.
SLR? I don't think so.
Because it doesn't look like a digital camera.
I'd have to look into it because I don't remember.
Yeah. But we're gonna be upgrading the camera to the Canon G7X Mark III. Not a cheap camera, and it's not a cheap camera. Right now you can find them anywhere between $700 and $1,000. They're not cheap.
Yeah.
But I want to make higher quality videos for everybody because I do feel like with the massive popularity that has been going on, I feel like this could turn into something. Like we are so close to starting to make money on the YouTube channel. We're not that far away.
You're not that far away.
We're gonna get you there too. We're gonna get you there too. We just gotta get you. We gotta get you more consistent on the uploads.
I've got other things going on that I'm more interested in. Like like I said from the beginning, I only do this for fun. Now
This is a hobby.
this is more, like, oh, it is fun, but it's also just like, oh, well, we get to actually sit down and talk about stuff, important things, and some non-important things. But this is a little bit different.
Yeah, I would love to make money off the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I would like to. I'm not holding my breath, but it would be nice if we could get to that point. And maybe one day. You never know.
Yeah, but definitely making money on any of the YouTube channels, regardless if it's mine, yours, or the podcast, it's going to help us motivate us more to be more consistent with it, because it's hard to designate a bunch of time into this when we have full-time jobs and stuff like that.
For sure. It definitely makes it a little bit harder.
Start making some money off of it, and that'll be a game changer. We could hopefully afford to put more time into it.
Yeah, that would be the ultimate goal, is to be able to.
But I know
produce videos every day. That would be nice.
Because the YouTube channel started out. I made a YouTube channel out of spite, because it started off with, I only agreed to post one video, and that was about why I left my old job, because it was too long for TikTok. And then I made another video talking about the breakup and everything I had gone through. And that was more or less to give me closure so I can move forward, because I wasn't moving forward from that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when you find out a bunch of stuff and you just want answers and the truth to things, and you realize you're never going to get that, it's hard to get closure from that.
I can understand that.
But I started posting on YouTube out of spite, because I was done with TikTok. I was tired of how it treated me. I had watched the platform turn into something that I was not happy with. And I was being extremely controversial.
Yeah.
A lot about a little bit on the culture war. I was definitely heavy on the abortion stuff, and I wasn't happy doing that. I have no problem being controversial on the podcast, because this is a place to be controversial. I don't want to be controversial all the time. I don't want to be known for that.
Right.
I'm not a news outlet. I'm not here to ruin your day. I'm just here trying to be me, and I don't want to be controversial all the time. I want to make videos I enjoy. And I enjoy doing these podcasts, because they're somewhere where you and I can sit and really talk about what's going on.
Yeah. I'd like to, one of these episodes, just like get together in the same room or something. But we're going to need a decent audio setup. So maybe we can plan that sometime in the future.
I will get a hold of another microphone. I'll find a way to get this DSLR camera set up, and we'll get a powerful laptop, and we can record in the kitchen at the bar.
Okay. Maybe we can do that. Maybe we could have a drunk podcast. That'd be fun.
Can you drink on YouTube? Can you get drunk? Can you get drunk on video? That's the question.
I don't know. I know that there was like.
I don't think you want me to get drunk on a video.
I don't want you saying inappropriate things on live stream. You're gonna destroy this channel. Ah!
Hey, if us being controversial about certain serious topics haven't destroyed this YouTube channel, then nothing will. It's 2023. Everybody's offended.
I'm offended by that. Yeah. But, all right, man.
Well, I'm offended that you're offended. That offends me. But
all right.
Thank you for enjoying this episode of The Situation. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that post notification bell, share this live stream with a friend, share this channel. We're trying to. YouTube started out as a hobby for me, and I would love to turn it into a career. Something I'm very passionate about. I'm still going to keep my day job, because YouTube, even the biggest YouTubers struggle with money, because YouTube is not a consistent source of revenue. It's just not.
Yeah.
Once you've hit your peak, that's it. Then you start going down, and it's hard to live a certain lifestyle with that. So I'm probably going to keep my day job. I'm going to do both, but I can designate more time and more effort to this if once we start turning this into just a side hobby we do every once in a while to a business.
Yeah, that's the dream. So work on becoming more entertaining, maybe. I don't know.
I will admit some of my videos are boring.
Hey, I'm just here. I've got
That play-
a good sense of humor. That's about it.
I thought that PlayStation 4 video I released that blew up for some reason. I thought it was boring, other than that one joke I put in the middle of it.
Well, I don't know. It blew up for some reason.
Yep.
But all right. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you everybody for watching. If you do watch, and we'll see you on the next one.
Please, the person who left the unfinished comment, please elaborate.
Please,
it's gonna
I'd like
me.
to understand.
It's gonna bother me.
Oh, now they're not gonna elaborate. They're gonna let it bother you. But that's fine.
We love y'all. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Boom. Wow, we had exactly